Criminal trial can be classified into two. One is exclusively triable by court of session and another is triable by judicial magistrate. Exclusively triable by court of session. The court of session has no original jurisdiction. Section 193 CRPC will apply. The cases committed to the court of session can be inquired into. So sessions court can try the cases committed by the learned judicial magistrate, and then summons case, warrant case, cognizable offences, non-cognizable offences. So offences can be classified into two: cognizable offences under section 2C CRPC and non-cognizable offences. Summons case section 2W CRPC, summons case and warrant case. So broadly speaking, exclusively triable by court of session, triable by judicial magistrate, summons case and warrant case, cognizable offence and non-cognizable offence. Let us see cycle of criminal trial. As soon as a crime is reported to station house officer, either oral or in writing, FIR will be registered under section 154 CRPC. Then investigation will be taken up. Investigation means collection of evidence under section 2H CRPC. After completion of investigation, final report under section 173 2 CRPC has to be forwarded to the judicial magistrate concerned. Learned magistrate will take cognizance under section 190 CRPC. Copies of documents will be furnished under section 207 CRPC free of cost to the accused. Then charges will be framed or discharge will be ordered. As soon as charges are framed, trial is said to have commenced. After the evidences on the side of the prosecutions are over and defense over, in between accused will be questioned under section 313 1B CRPC. All the incriminating materials, incriminating evidence has to be put to the notice of the accused under section 313 1B CRPC. Then evidence on the side of the defense and arguments will be heard from both the parties, from the prosecuting agency and from the defense counsel. Thereafter judgment has to be pronounced. This is the cycle of trial. There are two types of cases. One is cases instituted on a police report. Section 2R defines police report. Cases instituted on a police report. Police report means a report forwarded under section 173 2 CRPC. Then cases instituted otherwise than on a police report. That means complaint case. Section 2D defines what is complaint. Complaint means any allegation made orally or in writing to a magistrate with a view to his taking cognizance that whether known or unknown has committed an offence, but does not include a police report. So complaint means complaint under section 200 CRPC. It does not amount to police report. Institution and trial procedure for complaint case and police report cases are different. Different procedures are contemplated under the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. 2018 2 Law Weekly Criminal, page 606, Jeevanandam versus State. This is the verdict of Madras High Court, Madurai bench, and AIR 2001 Supreme Court 429. AIR 2001 Supreme Court 429. In these two judgments, the complaint case and police report has been discussed. As soon as a crime is reported to station house officer, FIR has to be drafted under section 154 CRPC. Then evidence has to be collected. The collection of evidence is known as investigation. It has been defined under section 2H CRPC. Both oral and documentary evidence has to be collected, such as observation magazine, seizure magazine, rough sketch, recording statement of witnesses, request to conduct postmortem in case of murder, or in case of dowry death, or in case of abetment of suicide. There will be a postmortem. Request has to be given to conduct postmortem on the body of the deceased. Inquest report, test identification period, dying declaration, DNA profiling test, blood report, and wound certificate. These are all the oral and documentary evidences. True statement of witnesses has to be recorded under section 161 3 CRPC. In case if FIR not registered, complaint in writing to Superintendent of Police under section 154 3 CRPC. If no action is taken by the Superintendent of Police, an application before the Judicial Magistrate under section 156 3 CRPC. If still no action is taken, then writ petition under Article 226 of Constitution of India or an application for direction under section 482 CRPC can be instituted. 2018 4 MLJ Criminal 513. 2013 Volume 3 Madras Weekly Notes Criminal 321. On registration of FIR, the FIR shall be forwarded to jurisdictional judicial magistrate without any delay. Forthwith has been used. The word forthwith has been used in section 157 subclass 1 CRPC. So FIR has to be forwarded without any delay. Undue and unexplained delay is fatal to the prosecution. In state of Tamil Nadu, Rule 5123 subclass of Criminal Rules of Practice 2019 contemplates judges and judicial magistrate shall affix their full signature, date and time in every page of complaint and FIR. Undue and unexplained delay in forwarding FIR to court is fatal to the prosecution. 3 judgments on the point. Number 1 is 1990 Law Weekly Criminal, page 175. In this case, Division Bench of Madras High Court was pleased to give guidelines both to the investigating agency and subordinate judiciary. What are all the important documents to be forwarded immediately has been listed out by the Division Bench of Madras High Court. The next one is 2008 MLJ Criminal Volume 3 257 Ayathurai versus State. 2019 Volume 2 Law Weekly Criminal page 747. In this case also direction was given by the Madras High Court. In order to get benefit arising out of delay in forwarding the FIR, there must be a specific cross-examination. Unless there is a cross-examination, the accused is not entitled to the benefit of doubt on account of delay in forwarding the FIR. Number 1 is AIR 2008 Supreme Court 92, AIR 1988 Supreme Court 1998, AIR 1988 Supreme Court 1998. Information on first information report. An accused has no right of hearing before registration of FIR. FIR is a document which sets the law in motion. Admittedly, FIR is the foundation of criminal prosecution. Whenever foundation is weak, the entire construction of such foundation will be at fault. Equally, FIR is not an encyclopedia. All the minute details need not be incorporated in FIR itself. Whether FIR can be lodged by an eyewitness alone? No. Anyone can set the criminal law into motion. It need not be by an eyewitness. A report cannot be refused to be treated as FIR since it was based on hearsay. AIR 1974 Supreme Court 1936. Whether FIR is a substantive evidence. Strictly speaking, FIR is nothing but a document which sets the criminal law into motion. It can be used either to contradict or to corroborate the maker of the same in trial. So, it is not a substantive evidence. 1973 Criminal Law Journal, page 680. Whether omission of material fact in FIR is fatal. FIR is not an encyclopedia. All minute details of occurrence need not be mentioned in FIR, but material fact such as name of the accused, name of the witnesses, type of weapon, and all very basic nature of the allegation has to be given in the FIR. Otherwise, it will be stated as omission of material fact. Ram Kumar Pandey versus State of Tamil Nadu, AIR 1975 Supreme Court 1026. Suppose there are corrections in the FIR, how it will be looked into? First information report is the earliest document. First impression is the best impression. Entire superstructure of the prosecution is built up only on FIR. So, if FIR is subjected to critical examination, there should not be any points to suspect the genuineness of FIR. If there are corrections in the FIR, it will be looked into very seriously. Murali Swamy at Muralidharan versus State of Tamil Nadu, 2007 MLJ Criminal Volume 1 796. Senthil Kumar versus State of Tamil Nadu, 2007 MLJ Criminal Volume 2, page 153. Ayyadurai versus State of Tamil Nadu, 2008 MLJ Criminal Volume 3, page 257. This is a triple murder case. What are all the tests to find out whether FIR is genuine? To check the genuineness of FIR, the Honorable Apex Court has given external checkpoints in the following case. 2009 Criminal Law Journal 3042, Mahadevan and others versus State of Tamil Nadu, CDJ 2012, Madras High Court 3953. The prosecuting agency has to forward the FIR to the autopsy doctor. When first information report is available, drawn up before the postmortem requisition is given, the FIR has to be forwarded to the autopsy doctor. Otherwise, it will be looked into with some doubt. Next external check is delay in forwarding the FIR. FIR may become die-in declaration when, strictly speaking, FIR can be used to corroborate or to contradict the maker of the same. So this is not a substantive evidence also. If the maker died, the same will be considered as a die-in declaration, provided it must pass the test of close scrutiny. It shall be free from all doubts. Damodar versus State of Tamil Nadu, AIR 1972 Supreme Court, page 622. AIR 1972 Supreme Court, page 622. What are all the factors to consider whether FIR is genuine? How an FIR can be characterized as not genuine? How FIR can be attacked? When FIR is written in a very good handwriting, if it was written systematically, there was no mistake. If there was no mistake, there was no hesitation in writing, it was absolutely neat and clean, then it will be looked into with some suspicion. The first informant, immediate after the occurrence, prefers a report before the station house officer. He cannot expected to give minute details, and without any hesitation, so neatly and systematically he cannot write. So if FIR is neatly written and systematically written, it can be looked with some suspicion. If improvements are there by the first informant in the court, it will be looked into with some suspicion. AIR 1974 Supreme Court, page 1193. Dattar Singh versus State of Punjab, AIR 1974 Supreme Court, 1193. Statement of witnesses will be recorded under section 161(3) CRPC. No doubt, statement of an accused can also be recorded. Statement of witnesses recorded by police under section 161(3) CRPC not to be signed by the witness under section 162 CRPC. Statement under section 161(3) CRPC can be used only for contradict the maker of the same. 2008 Criminal Law Journal, page number 590. The bar created under section 162 CRPC is only to the criminal court. So there is no bar for the civil court or writ court to rely upon the statement recorded under section 161(3) CRPC. 2017 volume 3 CTC page 603. 2017 volume 3 CTC page number 603. Dr. R. Muthukumaran versus State. Equally, there is no bar for the criminal court to rely upon the statement recorded under section 161(3) and also to look into the confession of an accused when application for disposal of property is considered. Delay in examining the witness under section 161(3) CRPC is not always fatal, but there must be a cross-examination on this point. AIR 2005 Supreme Court page 1000. AIR 2005 Supreme Court page 1000. Section 93 to section 107 CRPC speaks about search. Section 161(3) CRPC speaks about recording of statement from witnesses, and as per section 162 CRPC, signature of witnesses not to be obtained in statements recorded under section 161(3) CRPC. After the conclusion of investigation, final report under section 173(2) CRPC has to be filed. All actions of investigating officer in collection of evidences in between FIR and final report is known as investigation as per section 2H CRPC. After arrest, as per section 57 of CRPC, accused must be produced before the learned magistrate within 24 hours from the time of arrest. Remand can be ordered under section 167(2) CRPC either to judicial custody or to police custody. If an accused is unable to furnish surety within a week of arrest, he will be known as indigent person. He shall be discharged on his own bond. Bail in bailable offence under section 436 CRPC. There is no provision for cancellation of bail in a bailable offence. Bail in non-bailable offence under section 437 CRPC. Section 437 subclass 5 CRPC speaks about cancellation of bail. Section 438 CRPC speaks about anticipatory bail. Section 439 CRPC says special provision for bail, power of High Court and Court of Session. Section 439 subclass 2 CRPC, bail granted under this chapter can be cancelled. So, bail in a bailable offence, bail in non-bailable offence granted under section 437 subclass 1 and 2 or under section 438 CRPC or under section 439 CRPC can be cancelled by invoking the power under section 439 subclass 2 CRPC either by the learned session judge or by the Honorable High Court. Section 436 speaks about bail in a bailable offence. 436A, maximum period for which an under trial prisoner can be detained. 437, bail in a non-bailable offence. 437A. Bail to require accused to appear next appellate court. 438. Anticipatory bail. 439. Special power of High Court and Sessions Court regarding bail. Section 440. Amount of bond and reduction. Section 441. Bond of accused and sureties. 441A. Declaration of sureties. Section 442. Discharge from custody. Section 443. Power to order sufficient bail. Section 444. Discharge of sureties. Section 445. Deposit instead of recognizance. Section 446. Procedure when bond has been forfeited. 446A. Cancellation of bond and bail bond. 447. Procedure insolvency or death of surety. 448. Bond from minor. 449. Appeal from orders under section 446 CRPC. 450. Power to direct levy of amount due on certain recognizance. Bailable offence and non-bailable offence. Section 436 CRPC speaks about bailable offence. Bailable offence has been defined in section 2A, which is bailable, which is not bailable, non-bailable. There is no provision to cancel bail by the learned magistrate in a bailable offence. Pillappan alias Ravi Kumar versus State, 2018, Volume 2 MLJ Criminal, page 502, is the guidelines given by the Madras High Court. Bond has to be forfeited. 2018, Volume 2 MLJ Criminal, page 502. Bail exclusively triable by Court of Session. And anticipatory bail. There is no provision to cancel anticipatory bail. Section 439 2 CRPC enables the Court of Session and High Court to cancel the bail granted under the chapter bail and bail bonds. In some cases, judicial magistrate can grant bail in a case exclusively triable by Court of Session. 2001 SEC Criminal, page 674. 2005 MLJ Criminal, page 85. In a case where death sentence can be awarded, in a case where life imprisonment can be awarded, then learned magistrate cannot entertain application for bail. Otherwise, there is no bar for the learned judicial magistrate to entertain bail application. 2001 SEC Criminal, page 674. 2005 MLJ Criminal, page 85, Madras High Court. Section 437 subclass 6 and 167(2) CRPC speaks about mandatory bail. The bail under section 167(2) CRPC is mandatory and absolute. The bail cannot be denied. Bail under section 437(6) CRPC is mandatory but not absolute. 1992 Criminal Law Journal, 3712. 2001 Criminal Law Journal, page 1727. Exception to 167(2) CRPC is provision in NDPS Act and Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Applicability of Section 437 subclass 6. After framing of charges, date of examination of witnesses must be fixed in a non-bailable case. After trial date, if trial not concluded within 6 months, bail is mandatory. If reason to be recorded, bail may be rejected. Otherwise, accused must be released on bail. Bail conditions. In bailable offence, no condition can be imposed. In cases exclusively triable by Court of Sessions, learned magistrate can grant bail only in some cases. At the time of granting bail, the conditions contemplated under Section 437 subclass 3 and 438 subclass 2, 439 subclass 1A alone can be imposed. There cannot be any onerous condition as to deposit cash security, to produce close relative as surety, to produce sale deed, and to do any work like to remove Karuvela tree cannot be imposed. These are all onerous conditions. There are number of judgments. 2018 1 Law Weekly Criminal page 102, 2015 MLJ Criminal page 471, AIR 2009 Supreme Court page 2072. When an application under Section 167(2) CRPC is submitted for grant of bail, it is absolute bail has to be granted. After 60 or 90 days, if valid final report has not been received, accused cannot be kept under custody, has to be granted bail. The date of first remand has to be calculated. No notice to public prosecutor can be ordered. Application under Section 167(2) CRPC has to be decided on the same day. Bail granted under Section 167 CRPC is also liable for cancellation, but not on the ground of final report has been filed. Defective charge sheet cannot be considered to reject the bail under Section 167(2) CRPC. 2004 Volume 2 Law Weekly Criminal page 545. 2004 2 Law Weekly Criminal page 545. Scope of bail under Section 167(2) CRPC. No onerous condition can be imposed while granting bail under Section 167(2) CRPC. 2019 2 TNLR 934. 2019 Volume 2 Law Weekly Criminal page 629. 2019 Volume 2 Law Weekly Criminal page 629. 2019 Volume 2 TNLR 934. 60 days or 90 days can be extended to file final report only when prosecution is initiated under Section NDPS Act and Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Relevant judgments. 2018 3 MLJ Criminal 303, 2018 1 ACC Criminal page 401, 2011 1 SEC criminal page 1099. Section 173 subclass 2 CRPC speaks about filing of final report. As soon as it is completed, the investigating officer has to forward a final report in the form prescribed by the state government. As soon as it is completed, as available in section 173(2) means investigation. So as soon as investigation has been completed, the investigating officer has to forward final report before the learned judicial magistrate concerned. There are two types of final report. One is positive final report and the second one is negative final report. In some cases, the investigating officer can file partial positive final report. Now a question will arise, is it the duty of the learned magistrate to accept the view of the investigating officer, or is it the duty of the magistrate to accept the final report, that is the conclusion arrived at by the investigating officer has to be accepted or not when cognizance has been taken by the learned judicial magistrate? No doubt, judicial magistrate is taking cognizance as empowered under section 190 of CRPC. The taking cognizance, the term taking cognizance, though not defined in the code, as soon as the learned judicial magistrate applies his judicial mind into the facts and arrived at a conclusion, then the learned magistrate is deemed to have taken cognizance of offences. It is only a cognizance taken on the offences. No cognizance has been taken on the offender. The very thin difference is cognizance of offences, not cognizance as against the offender. If positive final report or negative final report or partial final report is placed before the learned judicial magistrate, the law expects the learned judicial magistrate has to apply his judicial mind into the facts of the per case. All the material available under section 173 to CRP has to be scrupulously analyzed. It must be scrupulously analyzed by the learned judicial magistrate, and he has to independently come to a conclusion whether final report has to be accepted or not. Whether final report has to be accepted or not. If it is a negative final report, the learned magistrate, as per the new rule framed Criminal Rules of Practice 2019, Rule 26 says judicial magistrate has to send notice to the first informant. This rule has been framed in tune with the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court in Bhagwan Singh case. So, protest petition can be filed by the first informant. Earlier, though there is no provision compelling the judicial magistrate to issue notice to the first informant, this has been settled by the Honorable Supreme Court in reported in 1985 2 SEC page 537. Suppose some of the offences is omitted or some of the accused are omitted in the final report, still the learned judicial magistrate has to independently apply his judicial mind and has to take a decision on the available materials. 2006 1 MLJ criminal page 218. 2012 volume 2 MLJ criminal page 300. Positive final report, negative final report, partial positive final report. So we have seen, in case of a negative final report or partial positive final report, learned magistrate has to apply his judicial mind into the facts of the case, and all the available material supplied by the investigating officer has to be decided by the learned judicial magistrate. There are 3 judgments on the point. 1999 3 CTC page 464. 2006 1 MLJ criminal page 218. 2012 volume 2 MLJ criminal page 300. 1999 3 CTC page 464. 2006 volume 1 MLJ criminal page 218. 2012 volume 2 MLJ criminal page 300. No doubt, section 190 CRPC has not defined the term cognizance. What action of the learned magistrate would amounts to taking cognizance has not been defined. But as soon as judicial magistrate applies his judicial mind, he is said to have taken cognizance of offences. AIR 2008 Supreme Court page 1213. AIR 2008 Supreme Court page 1213. Learned session judge has no original jurisdiction unless the case is committed to it. Cognizance cannot be taken directly. This is what section 193 CRPC says. But there are exceptions to section 193 CRPC. Special court constituted under NDPS Act. Special court constituted under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Special court constituted under POSCO Act. Special court under SC/ST Act, Prevention of Atrocities Act. In the 4 special enactments, there are specific provisions excluding the committal, and power has been conferred in the 4 special act, giving power to the learned special judge to take cognizance directly. So special law overrides CRPC. So as per section 36A of NDPS Act, as per section 5 of Prevention of Corruption Act, as per section 33 of POSCO Act, as per section 14 of SC/ST Act, the special judge, though he is a court of session, can take cognizance directly. So this is exception to section 193 CRPC. Human Rights Act cases can be conducted by the special court. The earliest judgment is Dr. Surabani case, decided by the Madurai bench of Madras High Court. There is no exclusion of committal in the Human Rights Act cases. So, though special court for conducting trial under the provisions of Human Rights Act is a sessions court. Sessions court, special court can take cognizance only on committal. 2013 volume 8 SEC page number 1. 2014 1 TNLR page 508. 2000 volume 2 MLJ criminal page 266. 2014 3 SEC page 306. As we had seen earlier, learned judicial magistrate has to arrive at conclusion on the final report. When final report is before the learned judicial magistrate, when he is about to take cognizance, the learned judicial magistrate has to apply his judicial mind independently, and he has to take a decision whether cognizance for particular offence has to be taken or not. 2007 Criminal Law Journal, page 644, AIR 1996 Supreme Court, page 309, AIR 1996 Supreme Court, page 309, 2007 Criminal Law Journal, page 644. AIR 1989 Supreme Court, page 885, India Carrot Private Limited versus State of Karnataka. The judicial magistrate can ignore the conclusion arrived at by the investigating officer, and he has to independently apply his mind to the facts emerging from the investigation and take cognizance of offences if the magistrate thinks fit. Negative final report can be accepted, can also be rejected. In case of a negative final report, as discussed earlier, as per the Rule 26 of Criminal Rules of Practice, magistrate has to send notice to the first informant or victim, and protest application has to be filed. The protest application can be treated as a complaint under section 200 CRPC. So in drafting the protest application, we have to take care it must be in the form of complaint, enabling the learned judicial magistrate to take cognizance of the offences. As soon as the learned magistrate receives the final report, there are 4 options before the learned magistrate. Learned judicial magistrate may agree with the conclusions of the police and accept the final report and draw the proceeding. The learned judicial magistrate may take cognizance under section 191B CRPC, and process may be issued straight away to the accused without being bound by the conclusion of the investigating agency. The learned judicial magistrate may also order for further investigation if he is satisfied that the investigation was not done properly, and learned magistrate may, without issuing process and dropping the proceedings under 191A CRPC, and he may proceed under section 200 CRPC. The protest application can be treated as complaint filed under section 200 CRPC, and the inquiry under section 202 CRPC can be conducted, and then he can take a final decision. In Vishnu Kumar Diwari versus State of Uttar Pradesh, reported in 2019 5 CTC, the importance of pleadings in the protest application has been discussed. So the protest application has to be drafted so carefully as a complaint under section 200 CRPC. When negative final report is received, notice to first informant is to be issued. 2011 volume 12 SEC, page 302. 2017 2 CTC, page 241, Chinnathambi versus Inspector of Police. So if negative final report is submitted, if negative final report is scrutinized by the learned magistrate, he has to send notice to the first informant as contemplated in new rules of practice 2019. If it is a positive final report, still even if it is a positive final report, the learned judicial magistrate still has to apply his judicial mind into the facts and has to arrive at a conclusion independently.